Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of the Ironman account. It's been a week for you, but about 5 minutes for me. The first thing we want to get done is going through some of the Wintertodt supplies that we got, specifically in cooking, crafting, and herblore. The smithing supplies will have to wait for now because we're just not ready to train that skill. But first up is cooking, and we're going to go to Lumbridge to get that done. By cooking on the range in Lumbridge Castle, we have a lower burn chance, so that means we get more out of the fish we have banked and more XP. And with these last couple lobsters, we are done with cooking for now, burning a ton of them. We got up to level 48, which is a nice starting point for us. We also ended up with enough low-level food that it should last us more than enough through the early game quests, and eventually we'll get to be able to fish and cook carp ones for a lot better healing per tick. Next up is crafting, and we got up to 31 crafting from the emeralds and sapphires, and that means we don't have the level to cut rubies yet, but we're going to solve that by doing a couple quests that give us some early crafting XP, and then we'll be able to cut those nice rubies. Elemental Workshop 1. Elemental Workshop 2 done, 7.5k in both crafting and smithing. We got up to 36 smithing, which is really nice because that's all been quests so far. And then our crafting's up to 37, so we can start cutting the rubies, but I'm gonna go do one more crafting quest. And Observatory quest, another 2.2k and 2 quest points. Booyah! And the last of the rubies are getting cut, and we only got up to level 40 crafting. I'm not gonna bother training up to 43 to be able to cut those diamonds. So our 39 diamonds are just gonna sit in the bank for quite a while. And that's 100k feathers bought from the Witch Haven fish shop. These will be very useful later for when we start to fish and fletch. The last skill we wanted to use up our Wintertodt loot at was on Herblore, and there was enough to get us up to 33 with the Guams and Hairlanders. I didn't end up using the other herbs, notably Marintils and Terramin, as I felt they were worth keeping for later, and with how much we're going to AFK, I think we'll still be able to genie our way to 38 for prayer pots, which was the main reason for getting our Herblore up. We're over in the Varrock area to complete some of the fairy tale prerequisite quests, and while we're here we want to be macro efficient, so we got up to 34 fishing, which allows us to wield the angler gear, and this angler gear is going to be very important for the strategy I have planned. The Priest in Peril quest is done. This unlocks the Mauritania area, which is very important because there's a lot of content hidden behind here, and it's very important for Ironman. But it's an absolute pain in the ass to get here, so we're going to go do the Ghost Ahoy's quest to solve that problem. And Ghost Ahoy done. Up to 21 prayer, and this gives us the Ectophile, which is a godsend for a lodestoneless game. It's a one-click teleport, and boom, you're in Mauritania. Very useful for herb runs too, to get over here to get an extra herb patch. Nature Spirit done. This is the last of our prerequisites for Fairy Tale, which unlocks the Fairy's Rings for us, which are very good. So let's go do Lost City. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I was doing the Lost City quest and I didn't bother to look up the save spot because I thought I remembered it, and it's been way too long, and I just got booped for a 10, and I wasn't expecting it, and I misclicked on a wine, so yeah, I died. I wasn't expected to be a hardcore long, but I wanted to at least get through this episode. Yeah, not worth restarting to only make it 5 quests more before dying, so at least I didn't die at a point where I was sad to lose hardcore status. Just thinking about it more, I guess it's kind of nice to die early because I can now take advantage of dangerous things like the wilderness if I need to, and without worrying about it. So if I was going to die anyways eventually, at least I died early. At least there's a positive to being bad. Coming back here and just so easily killing him in the safe spot is just so depressing. You can see my whines where I died. I was just trying to figure out the safe spot, and frustrating to say the least. So it's time to figure out the RNG on the account. The 3 items we need are, Joker Bones, Kingworm, and Snapegrass. Thank God those are all super easy to get. 2 are spawns, and 1 is just killing a low-level monster. Handing in those 3 items to the Nature Spirit gets us the Magic Secateurs. We were really lucky to make it through the swamp without the gas destroying the Kingworm, as if it did, I'd have to go all the way back to Gnome Stronghold, and I stupidly didn't grab a second backup. But with these Secateurs, we can now do the Tangle Root fight. The Tangle Root fight is our first flinching boss. Because he has to be killed with the Magic Secateurs, we can't get away with just safe spotting him with magic as we've done previously, and instead we need to trap him on the corner and flinch him. Essentially, we attack him, but if we do it right, he doesn't have enough time to hit us. Ideally, you should wait until the HP bar disappears, and that way you'll never get hit. But I got pretty impatient here because it was taking forever, so sometimes I went out early and got hit by accident, but I brought enough lobsters that it didn't matter. It wasn't too difficult, just extremely tedious with our low farming and combat level, because the higher your farming level, the more damage the magic secateurs actually do. Fairy Tale Part 1 done. This gave us some starting farming XP, getting us all the way up to 20. It's a really good base for us because low level farming absolutely sucks, and I'd rather just quest than to actually train it. We can start Fairy Tale Part 2 right away, though we don't meet the requirements to finish the actual quest. The main reward for the quest is something you unlock only after a couple pieces of dialogue when you get the fairy ring system. And with this dialogue, we should have the fairy rings unlocked. And to test it out, let's go to DJP, which is at the Tower of Life. This is a very important fairy ring because it's extremely close to the Kandarin Monastery teleport. So whenever we need to get to a fairy ring, we can just teleport to the monastery and then take the quick run over to the fairy ring. It's time to do some fishing trawler. We're going to be grinding out the angler outfit. This is the fishing skilling outfit, and we're getting it for 2 reasons. First of all, it gives us a 2.5% XP boost when used, so if we're going all the way up to 99 fishing and it takes about 300 hours to get there, by getting the outfit early, we save 7.5 hours worth of fishing, and on average, it only takes about 6 hours to get the outfit, so you're profiting 1.5 hours. On top of that, it's also a master step requirement, so if we're going to have to get it, we might as well do it early and where we get the most benefit out of it. The drop rate is 1 in 8 per successful run, so it should take us on average 32 to get the full outfit. First run done, let's see if we get an item. Oh yeah! 1 down, 3 to go. That is 2 out of 4, and we're only at 4 KC so far, so let's hope it continues. And there we go, on KC number 36, we get the hat, and we are done with full angler. I was starting to get bored of it, and I was like, God, this was a terrible idea. I should have just fished. But now that it's over, we never need to come back here except for the Artie Elite Diary, which will be in forever. With our full anglers obtained, it's time to start fishing. We're currently level 40 as we got from 34 to 40 while we were going for angler, but we still need to get all the way up to level 58 at regular fly fishing, because at 58 we unlock the second fish at barbarian fishing. And that's the point at which it becomes efficient to go over there instead of doing regular fly fishing. Also, there's a permanent fire here, so as we catch salmon and trout, we're able to just quickly cook the raw fish and then drop the cooked fish, and no need to bank it. So that should get us at least to level 60, I think, but hopefully higher in cooking. 1 more fish to go, and boom! We have 58 fishing, and we can now try to catch leaping salmon, which makes Barb worthwhile. Now, to get to Barb fishing, the best way for us is the minigame teleport. There's a requirement of completing the Barb Assault tutorial in order to use that tele, but we were smart, and while we were doing the waterfall quest, we stopped by and did the tutorial, so we can just teleport right now. The cool part about barbarian fishing is that we also get strength XP and agility XP when we catch fish here. Long term, the ratio ends up being about 11 to 1, 11 fishing XP for every 1 strength and agility XP. So if we go all the way to 99 fishing, that should net us about 74 strength and agility, which skips a ton of low level XP grinding in both of those skills. As a little bit of a sidestep from Barb fishing, our farming level is now above level 23, which is the level for giant seaweed. This gave me the motivation to unlock Fossil Island, but to unlock it we need to get up to 100 kudos. To get to 100 kudos, we're going to dig these finds, as the special items give 10 kudos each, and there's 5 in total, so that'll put us up to 98, and we can do 1 quest that gives 5 kudos to get us over the 100 mark. Additionally, we already found the clean necklace, which is in the bottom of my inventory here, and this necklace unlocks the ability to make dig site pendants, which are considerably more useful on old school, as they are the quickest way to get to Fossil Island, and getting to Fossil Island quickly is pretty imperative for Ironman because there's just so much value from that place. And Demon Slayer is done here. Quite the tough boss fight. Had to use 1 whole lobster. Whew. We got basically nothing. We just gotta get the silver light, but the important part is we have the 5 extra kudos when we go to the museum. And boom, we can talk about Delrith and get up to 103 kudos, which means we have the 100 kudos required for the Bon Voyage quest. So that boat portion of the quest is absolutely terrible. I am so happy they didn't actually make the sailing skill if that's how it's going to be. But I digress. We have Fossil Island unlocked. When you complete the quest, you want to make sure you bring 5 nails, 2 oak planks, and an iron bar to make the bank chest at the camp. That way you have access to all of your items on the island, as otherwise you'll have to go back to Varrock to bank again. The main thing that we're going to be doing on Fossil Island right now is seaweed runs and birdhouses. Birdhouses are like farming patches for Hunter. You fill them up with hop seeds, 10 per patch, and after 50 minutes you are able to loot the trap for bird's nest and Hunter XP. There are 4 locations in total across the island. On top of that, we will also be doing giant seaweed runs whenever we come to check our birdhouses out. So we've been fishing for quite a little bit, getting up to level 78. It's been about 3 or 4 days now of barbarian fishing all day. It's pretty draining AFKing that hard, but we got ourselves up to 53 strength and 54 agility. But we've hit a little bit of an impasse with our hunter level. We've been consistently doing birdhouse runs, and we are 3 birdhouse runs away from 44 hunter. At 44 hunter, we're able to use maple birdhouse traps, and if we look in the bank here, we have 762 maple logs. So the log part of it isn't an issue. The actual issue that we're running into is the crafting part of it. In order to actually make a maple birdhouse, we need 45 crafting. Currently, we're only 41, and we are about 16k XP off of 45. Turns out we only needed 600-ish buckets of sand, because each one of these uncut diamonds here that we still have left over from Wintertod is 107.5 experience. I also could have gathered less if I wanted to convert the molten glass, but I felt it was better to actually save the molten glass for when we get to 49 and can get more experience out of it, because right now we can only get 25 experience using it, but if we wait till 49 we get 52, so it's basically triple. And with this last inventory, we have all the soda ash we need. Over 600. We just need to find a furnace and go smelt all of them. And our furnace of choice is going to be Edgefill. And there it is, level 45 crafting, and let's cut this last gem. Let's go through a birdhouse run. So the first thing we do is get over to the grand tree, and then we climb up the ladder all the way up to the roof. And from there we can take the glider over to the dig site, which crashes. Oh no. And then we walk over to the barge here and take the boat over to Fossil Island. Once we get there, we get all the things we need out of the bank: an energy potion, 2 seaweed spores, 40 hop seeds, a hammer, chisel, and 4 logs for our birdhouses. At that point, we run west directly to get to our first birdhouse, and from there we go ahead and loot it. Next thing we need to do is we need to run north to get to the northwestern birdhouse. Just follow along the path, and then we make another birdhouse and plant it again. At this point, you can walk all the way around the island, but it's much faster to just teleport to the Verdant Valley using the mush tree here, pick up the 2 birdhouses, and then teleport all the way back to the mushroom meadow. Once you get back to the mushroom meadow, you want to go to the northeast in order to find this boat, and travel on the boat and click 3 to teleport over there, bank everything that isn't the seaweed spore, and come down to the underground area. Now, one of our patches died unfortunately here, so we're not going to get as much seaweed, but you want to pick the seaweed, and if any spores happen to spawn in the background, immediately run over to get them, just because the more spores you get, the better. Recompost, and then destroy and put everything into the tool leprechaun. At that point, you can minigame teleport back to Barbarian Assault and run south to continue fishing again. You can do one of these birdhouse runs every hour, and they take about 5 minutes to do. So it's quite efficient while we're in a place where it's very easy to get there. Once I got up to level 95 plus, it started to be so long between levels that I resorted to 3 ticking during parts of the day. When you're AFK, you attempt to catch a fish every 5 ticks, but if you do another skilling action in between, in this case make a teak stock, it resets the cooldown to 3 ticks, as the game only remembers your last action, and teak stocks are on a 3 tick cycle. This means we can attempt to make a teak stock, cancel it by clicking on the fishing spot to catch way more fish per hour. I also threw in a click on the fish to drop the fish, so it was very rhythmic. Knife, log, fish, fishing spot, repeat. knife, log, fish, fishing spot, repeat. Once I had it down and got the rhythm going, I was reaching upwards of 110k XP per hour, which is pretty much double what I was getting while I was AFKing. 3 ticking as a basis is only a 66% increase in XP per hour because you're catching 3 ticks instead of 5 ticks. But at the same time, you're also more likely to not miss out on time, whether that be a full inventory or if the fishing spot moves and you wait 5 seconds for a rune light to beep at you. Instead, you're spending those 5 seconds fishing. So ends up being double once you take all of that into consideration. And 3 long weeks later, we're about to get 99 fishing here. I'm just happy for this to be over, and I'm excited to move on to the other parts of this account. One more fish. And there we are, level 99 fishing. Ooh. I don't know if I explained this too well at the start, but there was 4 main reasons why we wanted to get this done. First of all, just look at our strength and agility levels. Mind you, the only way we've trained these skills are quest rewards and now this barbarian fishing. So we got ourselves up to 74, and if we look at the achievement diaries, for agility, we've basically covered off everything but elite assets. So whenever there's an agility requirement, we don't even really need to worry about it. And strength, when we start doing melee combat, we're just going to have so many more max hits than if we had 30 strength, and it's just going to make all the other skills like getting our defense up and getting our attack up so much easier. On top of that, at the same time, we got our hunter up to level 60 with birdhouses. I kind of really slowed down once I got to 59 hunter and unlocked birdhouses because our crafting wasn't 61, so it felt inefficient to do that. And while we will be getting 60 crafting pretty soon in order to be able to do birdhouses, I kind of slacked on it near the end. So we could have been like 64, 65-ish hunter if I kept doing them every single hour. And with that, we also did daily tree runs and got ourselves up to 61 farming, which means we can do some cool things with it because we got above the level threshold we want. But most of all, I think the underrated part about getting this to 99 is the skill cape, and let's go get that now. And there we go. We bought the skill cape. We don't need the hood, even though it kind of looks good with the cape. And our cash tech is down to 130k, and that's why I didn't actually buy the fire making cape, because it has very little use to us. And I knew I was getting the skill cape anyway, so if I wanted to get the better stats, I was just going to be able to wear this cape instead. But if we put on this cape, we can teleport to 2 locations. First of all, we can teleport to Otto's Grotto, which is a nice teleport up here for clues. I believe there's a clue right around here. And if we ever want to make a Hasta or do some more barb fishing, which I doubt, or do barbarian training, it's good to have. And then the better teleport is this fishing guild teleport. It's pretty close to a bank. You can see the bank over there. It's probably like 20-ish squares. I don't know the exact number, but it's our closest teleport to a bank because we don't have a good one right now. So this is our budget crafting cape, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to go all the way to 99 and not stop at like a high level once our agility and strength got up to a reasonable one. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Old School Ironman. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.